Yes, welcome. It's an honor to have you on this journey of personal growth, and what I have added on is the spiritual bit of it, because there is no personal development or personal growth without spiritual growth, because it's the foundation of it all. And we have read the story of the ant. If you've not yet watched part 1, please go and watch part 1 before you come to part 2. But if you're here, we are talking about laziness, okay? Laziness, and some of the things that, the lessons that we are drawing out of the ants, okay? And one of them is think about the future. Think about the future. Again, how I came about talking about laziness is I take time and reflect and think about my own life, okay? And so I found out, not just recently, it's a few months back, I found that something that keeps me disciplined with an action mindset is me thinking about the future and the things that I do not want to happen to me, or that I do not want to happen to the people that I love, and that is able to fine-tune me and keep me in line. And I love safety, that I love thinking about, you know, how, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 2 years from now, even if it's 6 months from now, okay? What if this, I'm so good at creating scenarios and getting out of those scenarios myself. So if I say, okay, what if the economy really goes so bad, and you know, the next month becomes so bad, what am I doing that will ensure that I go through the next month? And remember, I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about my family. And there's a time I was talking to one of my work partners, and they were asking me about women and money and how they deal with money. And I remember telling them that some women will not come outrightly to declare everything that they have, because some of them are trying to negotiate what could happen ahead, and they're trying to think, you know what, I should be this wise woman that when situations befall us or things happen, I should be able to come up with a solution. I should make sure that we eat. I should make sure we have a roof over our heads. And I know that this comes from the upbringing, and it comes for some of us, it's from the traumas that we faced when we were growing, where we didn't have enough, where we lived from hand to mouth, where we didn't know whether we would finish school, whether we would have a shelter on our heads the next years, where we'd have food on our table. And so some people have had that kind of trauma response, that they keep money in order to, you know, to mitigate whatever could happen in the future. And I know that if I talk about this, maybe you are one of them that is going through that. And I'm not saying that it is bad, because it's good to think about the future, not in a way that you don't declare. You can declare and even plan as a family and say, you know what, this is an emergency fund, and we're going to put it aside, okay, for things that happen without warning, okay? They are emergencies and we need to handle them. Can we be able to have that emergency fund just in case, while we can be able to thrive through the day-to-day? We don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know who could get sick. We don't know who could get an accident. We don't know what kind of, you know, risks we could get into. So you realize that you think about the future. Now, a lazy person is one does not want to even think about past today. They're only thinking about today. And I think you've seen such people that make decisions based on today, based on what do I eat today. And for as long as they are full, they're not thinking about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. I know that we're supposed to have faith, but we're not going to have stupid faith, okay? Just like ants, when it says in verse 6, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. That if you do not have wisdom, I will send you to the ant so that you can go and consider her ways, so that you will be wise and apply in your own life. We have always said that wisdom is the application of knowledge. You can have knowledge and still you will not amount to anything. But if you have the wisdom to apply that knowledge, then you will be big, and you will be, you know, you will have a good life and you will be thriving. So that means ant and think about the future, okay? They think it's going to be winter and we will not be able to go gather food. So in the summer, while people are having fun, yes, we're going to have fun. It doesn't mean that we are not going to have fun, but we will gather the food so that when winter comes, we are prepared and we are not shaking and crying and begging and doing all those things. Then the other thing is, the other lesson is, you don't do things based on your feelings. I think I've said it so many times that your feelings should be indicators and not dictators, okay? You should not be driven by your feelings, because if you cease or if you don't do something because you didn't feel like it, you know, I didn't feel like it. You ask someone, why didn't you do it? I didn't feel like it. Why didn't you go? I didn't feel like it. Why didn't you show up? I didn't feel like it. And that seems to be like sweeping statements that we are giving. But again, those statements are hurting us. Those statements are keeping us in poverty. Those statements are keeping us in backwardness. Okay, those statements are keeping us in a perpetual state of begging, okay, and that's not supposed to be your life. Remember, you're either sinking, you're surviving, or thriving. And for the people in this space, you and I have chosen to thrive, and that means thriving demands that we push away our feelings and we act depending on what we are supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to show up to that job. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do the sales. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to work out. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to declutter my space, my working space. I'm supposed, because that is one way of keeping, self-motivated and, personal discipline, to make sure that your surrounding is quite good, okay? So you realize that you have to take care of your work, you have to take care of your space, you have to take care of your fitness, you have to take care, and all that sums up to your mental well-being. Your sanity and everything thereof depends on what you do or what you don't do. So I need you to be able to look into that don't make decisions or don't act based on your feelings, okay? And don't wait to feel like it in order for you to do it. Don't do that. Go ahead and do what you are supposed to do. A lazy person, one way of dealing with laziness is just getting up and doing it. Just imagine you're seated at home, are you surrounded by things, or just look at your bedroom. Maybe clothes are everywhere, or just look at your sink. Maybe utensils are everywhere, and you've just been telling yourself, I will do it, I will do it, I will do it. Meanwhile, you're watching TV, you get another series, you scroll on your phone, and because you don't feel like it. But are they going to clean themselves? No, they're not going to clean themselves. So by you accomplishing those smaller tasks, then you are you are preparing yourself for the bigger tasks, okay? So start with the little, but make sure that you go ahead and do whatever you need, you're able to do. Okay, I need us to be able to cross over into how to actually overcome. And all these are lessons that we learn from the ants. And I hope that you've been able to read it and be able to actually understand it. That a thief will come sneaking in. That if you take a little more sleep, that if you take a little more slumber, that if you fold your arms, that we have to fold our pants, that we have to get strong and courageous and just get in the game, okay? If you are the kind that is staying on the fence and looking on and saying, oh, they're not making good prayers, oh, they're not doing it the way it's supposed to do, I mean, go do something. Find something to do. Instead of being the world's biggest critique, can you do something? Because nothing doers are very good at critiquing. But if you're in the game, you will even have the empathy of knowing that, you know what, it's not easy. And I'm not going to just sit here and just tell people, oh, wake up early. No, I should be in the habit of waking up early, and I will tell you its advantages and how it has worked for me. And I will not criticize you for not doing it, but I will tell you you are missing out on something, okay? So people that are not lazy, they get in the game, they make their hands dirty, they even have empathy and kind to other people who are not doing it, but they're showing them the good side of the leap of faith of crossing over to actually doing it. So one of them, we have mentioned it, in order for you to overcome laziness, don't depend on your feelings. At least we have been very clear about that. Don't depend on your feelings. Otherwise, your feelings are going to bury you. Your feelings are going to make you a beggar. Your feelings are going to make you a nutcase. Your feelings are going to make you crazy. Your feelings, because we have random feelings. Feelings come and go. And I hope that you can allow your feelings to be flexible, to come and go. Feel them when they come. And when they go, let them go. Okay? But one thing that remains for sure is you are here. One thing that remains for sure is you want a good life. One thing that remains as the truth is you want success, you want significance. And those things you cannot reach for as long as you go by the flow of your feelings. When you feel high, when you feel low, when you feel like not doing anything, when you feel like, and I'm not saying that don't rest, because sometimes our bodies just ask for rest. But I've realized that I work better when I have taken enough time to rest. And that's the other thing of overcoming laziness. Because sometimes when we work on empty fumes, for example, you've been working, and you without time to rest, you realize that you tend to be lazy because your body is demanding rest and you're not giving it rest. But once you have enough time, enough hours of sleep, your body depends on that. Your brain functionality depends on that. Your joy depends on that. Your sanity depends on that. And your mental health depends on that. So I need you to be able to listen to your body. And if your body is telling you to rest, okay, I'm not saying in weird spaces. For example, my body is telling me to sleep until midday. What is that? That's not your body telling you. That's you being, I don't know. So I need you to be able to know when it's time to rest, and even carve in the time and say, you know what, I'm going to rest. For example, on my phone, I have the health check, and the health check, determines how many hours you sleep. And so if you feed in the hours, for example, I have to wake up at 5 in the morning because I have, my personal devotional time, and then I have to run the school errands, dropping the kids to school. So I know that if I need to wake up at 5, I should be able to go to bed at around 9 or latest 10. So that means my phone will actually give me a health check at around 9 to warn me that it's bedtime or close to bedtime. At around 10, I should be able to be in bed. I am not as punctual as I want to be, and I will not tell you that 10 p.m. I'm in bed. No, because when you are in a home and you are the mother, there's so many things so many moving heads that you need to take care of. So sometimes I will find myself going to bed at 11. Sometimes I'll even go at midnight. Sometimes I will go promptly at around 10. But remember, my waking up time has to be the same. And so sometimes you can feel fatigued because you've been running, you've been sleeping late and waking up early, and your body just wants to rest. So listen to your body in such instances, okay? But if you've had a good amount of time to sleep, don't oversleep. Don't sleep at 10 p.m. and then wake up at midday. What's that? Okay? Don't sleep at, even if it's 11, and wake up at, have a constant waking up time, and make sure that you know what you do after that. Okay? So laziness is what we are talking about, and we've said don't base on your feelings. And then number 2, make sure that you have enough rest, because enough rest actually helps you to do the things that you need to do, and to have a proper, mental capacity to engage and do the things that you need to be able to do. And the other thing I've noticed in my personal life is eliminating distractions. And eliminating distractions, I came to a conclusion, is things don't own me, I own things. So in order for me to eliminate any kind of thing that will cause a distraction in my life, I have to be able to intentionally, willfully, and deliberately decide if it's a phone, I'm not going to do mindless scrolling. And if it's not just mindless scrolling, but I'm not going to be checking in every other time to see what's happening on social media, who has posted what and who has done what. That is why I actually had to make a complete audit of my social media. What comes into my feeds, who I allow into my feeds, what kind of content I even see or consume, and how much time I actually devote to that. And, you know, whether I go, some days I go on social media to just post and get out. And some days I will read a few posts, okay, and see, you know, what people are up to. But I'm not going to obsess on that. And that is why I time out and say, you know what, TikTok is something that I'm going to do for these few minutes, or I'm going to post and walk away. So you decide and take away the distractions in order to avoid laziness. Because, my friend, when you're on your phone, it can look like you are busy doing so many things, and yet you are doing nothing. The day ends and you have nothing to show for it, and another day ends and another week ends, and before you know it, a year has ended. I don't want that to happen to us. So distractions could be people walking into your office just to give you KB. I mean, could be anything, so many things. Could be the time that you devote to TV, watching TV. Okay, and does the TV own you, or you own the TV? Because if you own the TV, then you can decide and say, you know what, I've watched enough, and I don't think I can watch past this time. You can even decide and say, this month I am not just going to, you know, to devote time to TV. I am going to devote, because what screens steal from us, they steal creativity, okay? Because we are in the constant watching, we are consuming what others have created. But remember, those people that we are watching took time and created. That means they are not lazy. But the lazy us, the sluggard us, the snobheads, the Bible has a way of insulting us sometimes, but it's a good insult if you have to learn from it. Okay, so the sluggards, what we do is we fold our hands, we sit on comfortable couches, and we keep watching Netflix, and then we keep watching series, and then we keep watching whatever it is that we are watching. Watching TV is not bad, but everything should be in moderation. It should not be overdone, okay? Even your phone, oh my God, these small hand phones, the amount of time they steal from us and the amount of creativity that right now most people are doing copy and paste instead of being authentic and thinking about themselves and putting themselves out there. They're putting other people out there, okay? You are another extension of another person's version that you're putting out there, and that will break you soon. So you need to go back to being authentic, and being authentic means you own the gadgets don't own you, okay? So make sure that you limit all the distractions, eliminate all the distractions. The other thing that I've done in my life is, I know I've been called the queen of deliberately selfish, and being deliberately selfish, or even the process of writing deliberately selfish, has been a process of me learning to say no. I used to be the biggest people pleaser. I used to be the one that said yes to everything. I used to be the kind that didn't want to step on anyone's toes. I didn't want to annoy anyone, and until I discovered that it does not serve me, and it does not help in any way me achieving my future goals, my success, and my significance. And then I started saying no. And you know, when you say no, I've made this phrase so many times: you say no to good things to say yes to great things. But when you say no, you realize that you're able to do a lot more that you're supposed to do than going with the flow and doing what other people want you to do, okay? So make sure that your no is a no. When you say, no, I will not be able to come for that party. And sometimes say no to yourself. No, I am not going to buy that. No, I am not going to do that. No, I am not going to sleep. No, I am not going to eat that food. No, I'm not. As in, give yourself enough no's, say enough no's to other people, but make sure that you know why you are saying no. Because at the end of the day, if you want to increase productivity, you can't keep saying yes. You can't keep taking everything and putting it on your plate. Your plate is already full. So you can't keep bringing everything and saying yes to everything. You hurt yourself, you hurt your mental health, you hurt your sanity, you hurt your peace, you hurt your joy, you hurt your happiness and you hurt the people around you, because half the time we say yes to things and we never go ahead and fulfill them. So how about you say no, a lot more no's, so that when you say yes, it's very relevant, it's very useful, and it's contributing to your productivity, it's contributing to your sanity, it's contributing to your joy, and it's contributing to your mental health. And I know that it's very, very possible. So remember that in order for you to overcome laziness, one of the things is to say no, because sometimes we have given so much time to things that are not, we're not supposed to give too much time to. Okay, so that ends up putting us in a position where we are not able to do what we are supposed to do, and that amounts to laziness, because then you have taken on more and you're not able to do what you are meant to do. And that reminds me of is it the 2020 rule? Okay, I will not go deep into that because I've said it before, but you realize you have to select and say, okay, what is in my docket that only me can do, that is required, that only me can do. And the next thing is, what is required of me? Because when you go according to that criteria, you realize that everything that is not a requirement and everything that is not expected of you or you're not supposed to do, you are not going to do. So that means you're going to push it at the back end, and you're going to have the priorities that are small. And I've given this example so many times because I was at that point where I was so exhausted and so tired, because I used to write a long to-do list and then I would end up not doing anything or just doing 2 things, and I would feel so bad because then there are 18 things that are left. Some of you are writing to-do lists of 50 things, of 50 priorities, of, I mean, so many things to do. So what I did is I just chose and said 3. Okay, I mean, I can only deal with 3. So let me have the top 3. And then if I finish the top 3, I have other tasks. Okay, so whether I do those tasks or I don't do, my most important things are the 3 things. And the 3 things could be to make a call to someone. The 3 things could be to have a meeting with someone. The 3 things, but I make sure that they are very crucial and they are top on my to-do list, and I give them first priority. So you realize that I will say no to so many things, but yes to the great things that I set out to do, and that means that I will be able to hit my goal. That means laziness is out of the question. The other trick is to do less, just like I've said. Do less. Choose 3 things, choose 4, depending, choose 2. Okay, and say, I'm just going to do less. Because some of us, when we take on bigger things, they become so ambiguous and we become so threatened, and then we end up not doing what we are supposed to do. So in order for you to say bye-bye to laziness, is you deciding and not saying, you know what, I'm going to do all these things at the same time. Today I'm going to complete all these things. No. Can you do a few things? Do less things and say, you know what, today the energy that I have, I'm just going to clean. You can even clean your household. You can clean in parts. And don't just say, oh, general cleaning, I'm going to clean the whole house. I'm going to scrub all the bathrooms. I'm going to do this. No. That is why you can have a schedule and say, you know what, every Wednesday I'll be doing ABCD. I will be I'll be scrubbing, you know, the guest bathroom. I will be, you know, refilling it, everything that has run down. Or maybe today or Saturday is kitchen thorough cleaning, okay, deep cleaning of the kitchen. And you say, okay, maybe Saturday still I'll do deep cleaning of my bedroom, so that the next of the week I'll just have to, you know, dust a bit, but not deep cleaning, and change bed covers and change what and do all that. And maybe you say, this is going to be my laundry time. So you realize that you are, you know, chopping them into doable chunks of activity or workload, and you're able to do it because you're deciding to do less today. You're saying today, no, today I'm only doing 3 things in this house. So you do those 3 things, and when you complete them, it's so easy for you because you're already in the momentum and you're confident that you can do this. It's always easier for you to slide in to do other things instead of just sitting there. So you realize that when you choose less things to do, you have more focus, and then you devote your time to that, and you can be able to move on to other things and be able to do other things other things. And then something else that I found so useful, and I shared this with people in my mentorship group, it is cleaning your surrounding or changing your surrounding. Changing does not mean go leave a place, or no. The changing can mean, even if it's an office like this, just to declutter and say, I'm not going to have things everywhere, I'm just going to be, it helps. For me, it helps with my creativity, it helps with my thinking, it helps with my productivity, because then I get more done when I'm in an organized environment, instead of being everywhere. I mean, everything is cluttered around and I think I'm going to do more. That actually does not push me to do more. It pushes me to do less. So in order for you to overcome laziness, I need you to be able to create a conducive environment, declutter your environment, clean up your environment, change your environment, okay? Make sure that your environment is one that stimulates you to be productive and to do good, instead, or to even start a project. Okay, so make sure that some of the things that we've talked about are things that you can immediately incorporate in your own life. You say no, you do less, you don't base your decisions on feelings and whims. Feel your feelings, but do what you need to do anyway, okay? And avoiding distractions and the lessons from the ants, those are very, very, very major. Make sure that you go ahead and do them. Verse 11 says that, so will your poverty come like a robber, or one who travels with, a robber with slowly, okay, with slowly but surely approaching steps, and you're like an armed man, okay? That is not good. While someone sneaks up on you, or poverty sneaks up on you, it should not sneak up on you. You should be able to sneak up on it and say, you know what, this is not my portion. My portion is productivity. My portion is increased motivation. And my portion is flourishing and thriving in this world. So I pray that you have a thriving week. I pray that you have a thriving life, a thriving family, and I pray that you make decisions that will help you and propel you into the destiny that God created for you, and that the decisions you make will help you overcome laziness, and that you will not oversleep and fold your arms and wait for things to happen to you, but you will happen to things and dictate and dominate the kind of life that you want in your life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.